Hari Om Nannaji.
Hari Om.
Two questions.
Mm.
Um, One where you have mentioned about what is prarabdha, where we don't have, where we cannot change it, or where we don't have a choice to change it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we, let's say there is a situation, we keep on trying to change it. One way or another, it isn't changing. So we think, maybe it needs more effort, maybe it needs a different approach, so on and so forth. But we keep on trying to change that situation. So at what point do we know that this is prarabdha? Even though I've accepted that, yes, this is a situation, is why I'm trying to change it. But where do I stop? Where do I take it as, okay, this is prasadam and I need to be with it now?
That's what you have to say, wisdom, that prayer, the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference between things I can change and things I cannot change. So there has to be a point where a human being actually says, well, I cannot change this. This is the way, after making many, many times effort. And if it's the same thing and you find it's not able to, if things are not moving, things are not doing anything, then it's time to say, thy will be done, prasada buddhi, accept and move on, accept and move on. So that wisdom has to come, in the mind, either through your own conscience, your own buddhi telling you, or through an external source, somebody who gives good advice, somebody who knows, who can weigh up the situation. That's why we say, a Shastra always says you can go to somebody who has some knowledge of Vyavahara, who has been through life experiences, who knows, a good way forward, who cannot see, things happening for you with the constant trying to change it. Then I accept. Yes. And most of the time we do know. We know when something is again and again, if it's the same repetitive thing again and again, sometimes we don't want to accept. That's the problem. We don't want to accept it. So we try all sorts of different things. Despite trying the different avenues, if you're still blocked, then there has to be a point where the ego gives up. Has to be. And the ego says, okay, Bhagavan, this is your will. This is your manifestation. This is the karma manifestation in my life, prarabdha karma. I tried my best, used my free will, created agami karma, doing that, using the free will, but it's not working. And I give up, I leave it to you, leave it in his hands. And if it's meant, actually, if it's when you leave things in his hands, generally change happens by itself. That's the trick in life. When you actually surrender to Bhagavan, when you leave it, it actually happens automatically because you're not resisting constantly. It is the resistance to what is that makes me want to change things in life. So actually the prudent way of living is non-resistance. When I don't, that is a great, great growth, but because we're not at that level where we can suddenly, if something unpleasant, immediately what do we want to do? We want to change it, right? So Shastra says nothing wrong in changing it. Try and change it. If you can, change it. But Titiksha's definition in the Shastra is apratikara purvakam. Sa titiksha nigadyate. If you remember, Viveka Chudamani Shankara says that don't even try and change situations. Accept everything as it is, manifestation of prarabdha. If you have to go through it, you have to go through it. Why? What does changing an unpleasant situation manifest actually? The need in me. What is it manifesting? It is a need in me to get rid of papa karma and get punya only, because I only want to experience punya. What you're saying with that action is, I only want punya in my life. Papa karma, I don't want to experience. If you look at the actions in life that we generally do, running away from unpleasant, running towards pleasant, we're actually telling Bhagavan, yes, I don't want papa karma, only punya should manifest for me. So Bhagavan is actually saying, no, life is combination of both. Learn to take both. That is the Gita's teaching. Learn to take both. Samatvam yoga uchate. Karma yoga is what? Learning to take punya and papa without making so much effort to change. That is karma yoga lifestyle.
So is the free will involved in then just accepting the situation? Because earlier you said that we are misusing our free will if we are not doing anything about the situation. So
yes, you
here,
can do it. You can do it. What I'm saying is that if you're complaining and sitting and not doing anything, that's a different thing. When we talk about acceptance, it's a acceptance on all levels. It's an acceptance, body, mind, and soul acceptance. It is not outside, not taking action, inside, complaining all the time. This is awful. Why am I going through this? But if I act, nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to do it. That type of thinking, that is tamasic thinking. By thinking I cannot change something and suffering inside, that is not really acceptance, is it? So when we talk about acceptance, non-resistance, it is a total assimilation, total assimilations of Ishvara's order. That is total non-resistance. When I can get that type of feeling, then I'm non-resisting, then I don't need to change anything. But it's very rare to have that, because there will always be resistance inside, because I want things, because of likes and dislikes in the already ingrained in the mind. I want things to be the way I want. So that wanting things to be the way I want will be there. And that is when I have to step back and say, no, thy will be done, Ishvara's order, more and more karma yoga lifestyle. You're still using free will, definitely. You're still taking action. You still want things, you still expect things by taking action. But when the results don't happen as per your wish, there is a peaceful acceptance. That is real acceptance. When there's a peaceful acceptance, then it's not abuse of free will. When there is a pressurized acceptance, and when there is lethargy or fear of acting to make a change, that is we call abuse, misuse.
Hari Om Nandji.